Welcome back, students. We are going to go ahead and continue in this next video going over the rest of the content on your Blackboard page. We initially started with the first video, the Start Here tab, which showed both the course syllabus and the course content, as well as the course schedule. Now we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the tabs, and we're going to go through your different weeks of course content, quizzes, assignments, discussion boards, and grades. So now we're going to move to the announcement tab. When you click on the announcement tabs, this is where you're going to see various announcements that are posted by myself. Now, you should have already received this first one that talked about how we were restructuring this class due to the coronavirus and we were going to fully online. So this is where I will do all my communication. So any kind of announcement of what is due or answering questions that seem to come up a lot with students, talking about due dates or giving you reminders, this will all be here. Or if anything changes or anything is different, it'll be on the announcement page. Now, keep in mind that the way that this works is once I put it on the announcement page, it should generate an email that goes to all of your individual emails as well. And you might have noticed that already. So that will continue to do that as well, but it will be housed on this announcements page too. The next page I want you to look at is course content. This is where we're going to go week by week, and this is the different content that you guys are going to be learning every week that was based on that course schedule I showed you earlier. So first you're going to notice that there's weeks 1 through 5. These are all available right now. So you can actually work ahead if you choose to do so as far as what you're reading and what you're looking at. But as far as the quizzes go, that will require you to be timed when they're released and when they're done, and that will be per week. But if you wanted to go ahead and look at weeks 2, 3, 4, etc. ahead of time, you're able to do that. So the first thing I want you to do is look at week 1. So week 1, you would click on that, and in here, you will notice on every week, it will talk about what the week objectives are, and then the different learning activities. It will review again what chapters you should be reading in your textbook, which is also on the schedule as well. And then there's different tabs with all sorts of different things, videos, articles, journal articles, sometimes like other links to other websites that you can look at, which would just be kind of supplemental information for what you're reading. So for instance, if I clicked on this healthcare environment, there's a couple different things you can click on. 5 benefits to working in healthcare, pros and cons to working in a hospital. And then if you clicked on those, it would then lead you to different pages, different articles, different research things. So these are all just part of what you can do to kind of enhance your learning as you're reading the chapters to give you a better understanding. So you notice that there's different tabs along with that. In every week's content, you will see the lecture, and it will be listed as week 1 lecture, week 2 lecture, etc. So this is what you would have normally come into class to see, is you would have seen the PowerPoints being presented, I would lecture on them, we would discuss them, and then we'd go from there. So the way it's going to look for this online version is I am going to go ahead and lecture week 1, and just to give you an idea of how you would work with your PowerPoint and the different slides that you would do. But then going forth, week 2, 3, 4, and 5, I will not be recording a lecture. The way that the PowerPoints that I have designed them is the PowerPoints are there, and each of the PowerPoints have notes on each slide. So basically, those notes are what I would be discussing with those PowerPoint slides as if I was lecturing to you. For this week 1, we will also be reviewing this Welcome to Nursing 1000 online, this Introduction to Concept-Based Curriculum, which is the new curriculum that we are entering into, which is this is the first course of that curriculum, and then again week 1 lecture. And lastly, with every week, you will also have that week's discussion board. So for example, this week's discussion board is you need to answer all these questions on that discussion board, and I'll show you how to do that, and then you need to respond to 2 of your classmates' interview questions as well. And that's kind of how the discussion board will work. Each week, there'll be a different thing you have to answer or talk about, and then you have to comment on other people's discussion posts that they make. And you have to choose 2 students to comment that on. And it can be different students every time, just, maybe a statement that a student made that caught your interest or that you wanted to agree with or even rebuttal against. You can do so in a obviously professional manner. So Discussion 1 is a very kind of general one, which is why it's only worth 5 points. And this is just a basic for me to get to know you. Questions like, your biggest strengths, what do you expect to get out of this class? What do you find interesting about this nursing career? And that type of thing. So every week we'll have a discussion board. You're not answering the questions on here. You're actually doing them on the discussion board, and I'll show you how to do that. So then you're going to go ahead and move up to discussion boards. So once you go to discussion boards, you'll see that this is where you would go ahead and answer those questions. Now mine will look a little different than yours because again, I am releasing these every week. So for this week, this one will be available today or after Wednesday, March 18th at 8 p.m. And then this is where you'd be answering those questions and you go right on this discussion board to do that. Another one will be released week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. So you're not going to see all 5 of them initially. They're going to get released every week on the Wednesday that you would normally have class. So you have up until that Sunday to do this. So Sunday at 11:59 every week. It opens on Wednesday and you have till Sunday night to turn in that discussion post. And that goes right there on this discussion board. The next thing I want you to look at is quizzes. Quizzes are where your quizzes are going to be released. Now, there's a couple things here. Again, same thing. My page looks differently because I have all the quizzes. However, yours will be released 1 quiz at a time per week. So right now, what should just be showing on yours is this practice HIPAA quiz. This is just a quiz that's just optional for you to kind of practice what it's like to take a quiz online. So this is worth no points and has no time limit. So if you want to practice this just to get kind of in the practice of doing an online quiz, you're welcome to do so. You do not have to. The next quiz that would be available for you is the syllabus quiz. The syllabus quiz will be over the syllabus that you just read under the Start Here tab and a few questions just making sure you understand it. This quiz will be opened on the first day of class on Wednesday and will be due that first Sunday night by 11:59. Now the rest of the quizzes for weeks 2 through 5 will be open again every Wednesday at 8 o'clock after your class would have normally ended, but those will be due on the Tuesday right before the next class. So for example, on your schedule, the second syllabus quiz will open on Wednesday, the 18th of March, but will not be due until Tuesday, the 24th. So it gives you a little bit more time than Sunday. And as long as it's done by that Tuesday night at 11:59, then it will go ahead and be submitted. And then we'll go on to the next course the following day, which would be March 25th. Now, if you do not take this quiz, you cannot make it up. So once this Tuesday, the 24th comes around and it's 11:59, it automatically shuts off and goes away. I cannot reopen it. It's the way that it's set in this Blackboard setting. So once it's gone, it's gone. Also, you cannot retake the quiz. It's just a 1 chance only. So if you don't do very well or you don't like your grade, unfortunately, we cannot make up these quizzes. However, keep in mind that as you're taking these quizzes, you have your book in front of you, you have your resources, and you are welcome to take a little bit of time to kind of search for those answers that you need, but keep in mind they are timed, so you don't have all the time in the world to do it, but you have some time to reference your book if need so. So every quiz from week 2 through week 5 will be open on the Wednesday that you would normally have class and will be due the following Tuesday. Okay, so the next tab I want you to reference is the tab that's called Assignments. On this assignment tab, there's a few things for us to go over here. First of all, I had spoken to you about your reference page of your PowerPoint project having to use APA format. APA format is what we use in nursing education from the associate degree level all the way up to a PhD. It's the way we cite and we reference research material that we use for journal articles, PowerPoint presentations, research, etc. On this assignment tab, I have some resources for you to help you with your PowerPoint project. First of all, I have this tab called the Beginner's Guide to Microsoft PowerPoint. For those that are unfamiliar with how to create a PowerPoint, it will link you to a YouTube video walking you through instructions on how you use PowerPoint and how you create PowerPoint. These two will be helping you with APA formatting. So this first one is a Purdue OWL PowerPoint, which helps you go step by step on how to not only cite your quotes or your information on each slide, but then how to organize them and reference them at the end in APA format on your final reference page. This other one is APA formatting guidance, which is an article and a general format page showing you how to cite your resources on every slide whenever you are quoting or taking information from a source that is not original or your own, and then how to organize them to put them on your reference page, which is on your final page at the end of your PowerPoint. This is where you would actually submit the final career portfolio PowerPoint project. Before we go to submission, I'm going to show you that underneath this is the rubric. If you click on the rubric, this will show you the guiding scale we use on how I will grade each PowerPoint. So notice there are varying points you can get depending on whether or not you make errors or no errors in proper APA format, citations, your fonts, your headings, whether or not you demonstrate knowledge, when your grammar is correct. Adding creativity or personality will include with this pictures, interesting facts, information and such. So there's the different points you'll get for that grading of your PowerPoint. So that's right underneath there. So you can use that as a guide when you're creating your PowerPoint just to make sure that you have everything you need to have included in order to get the full 30 points. Keep in mind in the past, I have had students who've had great PowerPoints, however, have lost lots of points on grammar errors, spelling errors, APA, and citing errors. So make sure all those things are done because those can add up if you lose points on that. When you're ready to submit your PowerPoint project, you would just click on this tab right there. It's going to tell you that you can browse your computer, find your PowerPoint that you have stored on your computer, and then go ahead and submit it. Okay, so the next thing you'll find on this assignment page as well is the discussion board grading rubric. So we talked about how you are going to do discussion boards every week. If you click on this grading rubric, it will show you how I grade each discussion board. And these have a series of points depending on your response to the discussion module. So the question I put forward to you, what's your response? And then what is your response to your classmates? And then again, I'm looking at APA format if you're quoting anything or citing anything, as well as grammatical errors. So there is a grading rubric for the discussion board. And then those are what you would find on that assignment page. The last thing I want you to look at is how you would check your grades. So you would click on this Check Grades tab, and this is where your grades are going to be found. And we will have grades on your PowerPoint presentation, obviously, which is 30 points, your weekly discussion boards, as well as your weekly quizzes. And between those three things are where all of your 100 points will add up. The last thing I'm going to talk about on this video is if you have questions for me, if questions come up as far as the PowerPoint lectures, your readings, questions on assignments, quizzes, discussion boards, etc., you can either put them forth via email to me and I can answer those questions, or what might be more useful is to ask those questions on the discussion board so other students can see those questions, because the chances are if you have a question on something, then chances are more students as well have questions on that. So this way, if I answer those questions on the discussion board, I can answer them for everyone to see, and then everyone gets those answers. So you can either do it on discussion board or email. So that is your tutorial on how to use this Blackboard site. The next video will be me lecturing on the 3 PowerPoint contents of week 1, and we will go from there.